Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about moving to Australia, which I did it's coming up to 3 years ago now to start my PhD studies. I'd never been to Australia at that time, so I experienced some culture shocks when I went over. And these are some of the surprising things that I experienced, which might be like silly, ordinary little things. It's not that deep. But yeah, just things that I was surprised by that I didn't really know about Australia in terms of what people have told me before. But I also wanted to show these really cute coasters that I got from from the Fremantle Market, which is in Perth, which is where I was. They're by, I don't know if this will work, maybe I should, oh okay, I put them on my face so it works. They're by Bro and Paper Company from the Fremantle Market. So that's the blue boathouse. Then they have this Ingo Flower one, which honestly I don't know all the story about this one, but I know this kind of building is in Fremantle. Then these are some of the containers in Fremantle, and also this is also I guess monument in Fremantle. I'm not really that knowledgeable on these, but they're gorgeous. So I usually keep my kettle on top of them, but yeah, I was like, oh, I should like keep these alongside me and just touch them and feel the energy to inspire me, since this is about Perth or Australia. But yeah, so when I first arrived to Perth, honestly I was really quite nervous for many reasons. I bought a one-way ticket, and so I didn't know when I was coming back. I mean, I knew that I would come back to visit at least, but I was moving there for the time being, which was kind of nerve-wracking, honestly. I think it was so nerve-wracking that I didn't really fully process it, actually. But yeah, I arrived there and I was really nervous about like doing something wrong, or like a cultural faux pas or something. But everything went quite nice and people were really friendly and nice, and turns out that Australians are laid back in the sense that like you can't really do a faux pas. Yeah. But yeah, one of the first things I found that surprised me when I arrived was that they had these free buses. This is maybe where my neurodivergent way of thinking comes out. Is that I don't know if these are the kinds of things that like are gonna be most interesting for people to hear about when they think like, oh, Australia beaches. But yeah, I was really surprised. I don't think I'd been anywhere where they had like free buses before, and I believe that they fund these cab buses by people paying for parking, essentially. But yeah, I was just wild to be able to get on a bus and not have to pay for it. I don't know, like I really felt like this can't be right. I must be misunderstanding something here. But I do think that that is a wonderful initiative, although again I don't know that deeply about it. And in general the cost of public transport was a lot more affordable, at least as a student, because as a student here the bus fare is just the same as for everyone, unless I think there are some exceptions if you're Scottish, or if you're like really young. But as an international student it's just the same, whereas as an international student in Australia I was eligible to like, it's basically like half the price. Yeah, so that was amazing. The cheap / free buses, although it is true that the transport system isn't as comprehensive as in Europe, so but anyway, that was one of the first things I was surprised by, and like very pleasantly surprised. I was like, wow, it's a really egalitarian place. The second thing I was surprised by was the friendliness, and which I guess I should have known because people had told me similar things, that Australians are really nice and friendly and relaxed and that kind of thing. But there was somebody who helped me out when I first came and I needed something printed for the bank, and they helped me at the reception downstairs in my student accommodation, and they printed something out for me, and I asked them, like, is this how usually you go about things? So should I come here if I need something printed again? And they sort of said, oh, no, like, we usually never print anything down here, like, you're supposed to do it in like a whole different level of the place, and like, I don't actually do it, somebody else does it. But they were so nice, and because I came down and I was a bit panicked about this bank thing, he just helped me out, and I wouldn't have even known that you know, it wasn't the way to do things unless I had asked, which is, to me, is just remarkable, because I feel like when other places I've lived in Europe, I just feel like people, I'm not saying that people, I think people here in Edinburgh as well, they're very willing to help and things, but they do let you know if you've got the wrong process, you know, of going about something. But yeah, that really surprised me. The third thing is, I guess, how much bigger certain things are. I know that they say that things are bigger in the US, but I think I came from, in terms of universities, I had been studying in Edinburgh, and it's sort of like a city campus, not really a campus, so maybe that's part of my perception. Like, maybe there are just as big universities around here, but just not the one that I went to, you know. I mean, I have been to some others, but yeah, I haven't frequented them obviously as often as like a university where I actually study. But yeah, that campus was, the campus of the university where I was studying is huge, really big, and I sort of took the bus there and just went to the south side of the campus, and basically it got dark before. I mean, I did know when the sun was setting roughly, but I think I was just taking my sweet time, because I didn't think it was that big of an area, and yeah, ended up like being maybe like a third into the into the campus area when it got dark, and I was like, oh shoot, now I gotta well, not that it was that unsafe, but yeah, kind of still felt like I'd never been there before, so kind of felt like rushing out of there. So yeah, the campus was really big to me, and they also have other big parks. Like Kings Park is really big, and it has a botanic gardens attached, and the first time I went there, I didn't actually see the botanic gardens because the park is really huge, and if you don't know where you're going, which I guess people would look up where they're supposed to go, but I didn't. I feel like I crossed most of the park, but I didn't see the gardens. But yeah, that's another really huge park, so I feel like just geographical distances are just bigger. Even when it comes to places that aren't even not that far from the center, really. And I guess that's where driving comes in handy, and that's obviously evolved, like, mutually being influenced by driving, if that makes sense. Like, because people drive, it's kind of easier for the city to spread out that way, but also because the city is spread out that way, more people want to drive. The fourth thing that I was really surprised by is, and I loved, was just walking into the supermarket and seeing all the fresh fruit and produce, like the vegetables, and also all the fruit juices. Like, there was some, like, a Pink Lady, which is my favorite apple. I don't really know why, I just really love it. And a Pink Lady, like, orange juice, apple juice. I'd never seen that before. And they had like this huge, like, 2-liter orange juice in Woolies, Woolworths, which is one of the main supermarkets, and yeah, and it was really affordable as well. I think that one cost like $4.50 or something, which would be like £2 for like 2 liters of like freshly squeezed orange juice. Amazing. But yeah, I just loved that, and just realized what I mean, I had known that obviously Australia is this big country, really diverse country, like in terms of weather as well, and in terms of landscape, and some of the kind of things that you can grow, you know, in different areas. But there's nothing that there wasn't a, like, that was, I think, the earliest and best illustration of that. Just walking into the supermarket, everything is like Australia, from Australia. Or I mean, there were some things from New Zealand as well, but I think that was like kiwis, and pretty much everything else was Australian. Excuse me. So yeah, very. I think I think the first time I went to the supermarket, I just basically got all fruit and vegetables, just because I wanted to try everything. And also some of the, like for example, eggplants, like they're really big. Some of them are really much bigger than what I'm used to, and they have all these like different types of potatoes that I'd never seen before, like blue potato, red potato, white potato. Well, white potato I had seen, but anyway, yeah, so that was really cool. And then they also have a lot of people who have migrated from, because it's obviously like closer to Asian countries. They have, like, that was my first time when I moved to Perth of trying Malaysian food, Indonesian food. It was my first time of trying banh mi as well, from Vietnamese cuisine, and that's really so delicious. And they have this some of these sushi places where you can get sushi for really cheap, like these big rolls, and you can just have it for lunch, and I love that so much, even though I know that it's probably not the best quality sushi, but just like it's like at least twice as affordable as in the UK, so just incredible. Like maybe I don't know, like seriously, I feel like I could fill myself for a lunch for probably like £3 or something of like really good quality sushi. Like for me, I know that's probably not the best quality in the world, but like just much better than anything I'd had before, really. But yeah, just I think because of my migration, there's just lots of good Asian food to be had around. Yeah, and also I had like more vegan ramens than I'd ever had before, and they were also really delicious. And lots of bubble tea shops. Yeah, I think that surprised me definitely. That I think in when I visited Adelaide, I think it was, there was like kind of like when you'd go to supermarkets, there were more things from like Italy or France, but I feel like in Perth it's really a lot of the migration has been from Asia, and so yeah, just really good food that you can have as a result. or just different things that I hadn't had for whatever reason, either just hadn't sold out in Europe, but there's just that much more of those kinds of places around. So yeah, that was the 5th culture shock sort of that I experienced, and yeah, I think these were sort of what the things that shocked me very early on there, and I know that they're kind of small things, but I think that can be hopefully intriguing. I also feel like sometimes I don't know, I do feel like I have a bit of an idiosyncratic brain, so I don't know if this is very unusual, but if it is unusual perception of culture shocks in Australia, then I'm sure that there's at least one other person who thinks similarly, so cool. Anyway, but yeah, I really enjoyed, and I really enjoyed being in Australia. It was at times a struggle health-wise, and I was definitely homesick and confused at times, and I don't know that I'd do it again, but I'm very happy to have done it, and I met some, yeah, just some people that I'll treasure for life, who I hope that know who they are, yeah, and just met wildlife, or saw wildlife that just, I don't know, so spectacular. So maybe I'll talk about it in another video, but yeah, I mean, beach wise, wildflower wise, you know, in terms of animals, forests, Western Australia is just wonderful. So there's definitely things that aren't as dull as maybe the ones that I've expressed here. I think nature wise it's a really remarkable place, so maybe I will talk about it in another video, although that seems more serious, so I feel like the pressure would be on for that. But anyway, okay, thank you very much, and see you soon.